The September 10th primary election to name a Democratic candidate for mayor is almost here, and you've heard the four candidates at numerous debates and forums around Norwalk already. So instead, we're asking public faces in the community who they support and why. In this segment, we speak to former Common Councilman Chris Potts, who supports Andy Garfunkel. In your own words, why do you support Andy Garfunkel?
I support Andy because I think of all the people running, he has the necessary experience to unseat the current mayor. He came very close last time, and I would have to say that probably the party didn't pull behind him as unanimously as it could have, and I'm sorry to say that did make a difference. I wish it hadn't, but it did. However, I think learning from that experience last time, the Democrats would be far less likely to do that this time around, knowing they came so close to the goal last time. I think they would rally to him. As I said, he's had the experience of running against Mayor Moccia before and coming very close. Also, he's got 10 years as city clerk, or town clerk, pardon me, in which case he dealt with an awful lot of the issues that he'd be dealing with as mayor, maybe not at that same level, but a lot of the redevelopment and everything comes through his office. So he's familiar with a lot of the issues. He's a lifelong Norwalker. He has been involved in many aspects of the community throughout his life, starting with PTO president, which is really where he entered the political realm, but he's also served on the Neon board. He served on the Seaport Association board. He served on the Senior Center board. I mean, he's been active in an awful lot of areas and an awful lot of places that are important to Norwalkers. And I don't know if it's out of place, but his girlfriend is a member of a very prominent oystering family in town. So obviously he's had a lot to do with the Oyster Festival in years past, but that is one of Norwalk's prototypical industries here,
Sure.
And he's heavily involved in that as well. So I think just from every point of view, Andy is the guy with the right life experience and right job experience to take over as mayor.
Now, we can talk a lot about all kinds of issues going on within the city, but if we had to boil it down to one that maybe you're most passionate about, what would that issue be? What, as far as you know, is Andy's stance on that issue, and why or why not? Why do you maybe agree or disagree with his stance on that?
Well, I'm obviously going to pick something I agree with.
Sure.
I guess, and you can go to his website, and he's got a list of bullet points on things that he's trying to promote in his candidacy. But I'd say one thing, it's not specifically listed, but it's really common to a lot of them, is just efficiency in the way things run. He talks about bringing in technology. We've seen that in his tenure as town clerk, where he really modernized that office, and anybody who used that office before Andy came in and after Andy came in owes him a great debt of gratitude, and many have expressed that. And he can do that for the entire city. He can bring Norwalk into the modern age. Also, his stances on environmental issues. Again, green really comes down to efficient use of resources. It's efficiency once again. Efficiency makes things run more smoothly. It makes things more transparent because people can see what's going on, and it saves money, which means you don't have to raise taxes, or at least not raise them as much as you would otherwise. I think that's just a common theme in everything that Andy's about, is bringing things forward and making them more efficient and transparent.
And you sat on the Common Council, and granted it was only for a few months, but obviously, as you know, part of that whole task of sitting on the Common Council is you have to make decisions for the whole city. So why do you think Andy would be qualified to make these top level decisions?
Well, again, I would go back to his experience in all of the community groups that he's been involved in, as well as with the town clerk's office. He's dealt with an awful lot of the top level issues in the city for a decade and more. I think that experience, the knowledge that he brings, the people, he's got an awful lot of contacts around town. So even if something should, and I find it hard to believe, something should come up that he's not familiar with, he knows who to talk to and find out about it. He'll do the due diligence necessary to come to a good decision.
And you referenced how Andy came close but fell short in 2011. So, what do you say to a voter voting in this primary who watched Andy come close but still fell short? And maybe in 2013 they feel like somebody else offers a better chance to win the general election because they already saw Andy, fall short.
Well, I know there are a lot of voters out there who say, well, close, but, one strike and you're out. Well, we've had a mayor for the last 8 years who had one strike, and the Republicans stuck with him. They knew that, he came close. We just have to do things a little bit better, and he'll get over. And he did just enough to get over. And I wish that our Democrats were as steadfast with their candidates maybe as the Republicans are, because I know that with the right support of the party behind him, Andy would definitely triumph this time around. I mean, I think people are, quite frankly, just a little tired of the business as usual at this point, and they are ready for a change. So I do believe that whoever wins the Democratic primary has a good shot at winning, but I think Andy has the best shot at winning.
Primary day, September 10th. You'll find out where you can vote and full primary results on itsrelevant.com.